And let's turn to Cameroon now, where hundreds of passengers and traders have been left stranded on the Kumba-Bua highway in the western part of the country since last weekend after armed group erected barricades and roadblocks. This comes as a standoff between secessionists and Cameroonian authorities intensifies. The road is a major link between the cocoa-producing Kumba region and the main hub of Bua.
Hundreds of Cameroonians have been stranded in Kumba because of roadblocks erected by secessionists on the main road to the troubled southwest region's capital city of Bua. Kumba-Bua access is a major trading route for cocoa from Kumba to the Bua hub. It is also a route frequented by many travelers. Residents of the region say their lives have been disrupted, while travelers are now stranded due to the roadblocks and repeated attacks.
I'm totally living in fear because most of their machineries that are passing, I've never seen them. This is my first time seeing the type of guns they are moving with it, so I'm in fear. So when they are passing with those guns like that, to me, I just know that death is by the corner. It's difficult for me even to move and to look for something to eat. So where I stay is just like a prison yard. I cannot move. I'm here just because of the transport issue. Without that, I could have still at home.
What began in late 2016 as a peaceful movement calling for greater representation of the mostly French-speaking country's Anglophone minority morphed into conflict after a heavy-handed government response in which troops shot at civilians from helicopter gunships and burned villages. The army denies such accusations, but authorities say a crackdown is necessary to restore peace and curb banditry, describing it as an anti-terrorist operation. That bolstered support for some in the Anglophone Cameroon who want to form a new state called Ambazonia.
I've been here for 5 days and all this has really hindered my journey because I'm going to spend like some few days with my aunt in Boya before going back to where I'm from, like to help to raise income for my studies next year. So it has really hindered me because I've not been able to reach Boya till today. We came here on Saturday and we are still here. We were told the roads were to be open yesterday, but since there's still a barrier on the way, we can't go.
Clashes between insurgents fighting for a breakaway republic in Cameroon's Anglophone region and security forces have killed scores of people and displaced tens of thousands more since late last year. The government issued a report saying armed separatists in English-speaking regions of Cameroon have killed over 80 soldiers and police since their insurgency began in September last year.
Now, Dr. Aderemi is back with us to tell us more about the situation in South Sudan, where the government has rejected that the rebel leader Riek Machar returns to the country. So tell us, Dr. Aderemi, what impact is this likely to have on the country, especially the peace deal initiated by IGAD?
Well, I think it's a positive move. You know, I'm not sure of the legality of it. Riek Machar being, constitutionally appointed as first vice president. But I think that's the pragmatic, realistic option to take. The partnership has completely broken down. I don't see, any possibility of them coming together as a team. Plus, if you look at the claims of ethnic cleansing going on in Southern Sudan now, it's reached, a point where, we're thinking of Rwanda in 1994 again. The Dinka and the Noah, have seen themselves as sworn enemies. So I think, Riek Machar stepping aside, so to say, might just, be a breath of fresh air.
Earlier this year, President Kiir asked Riek Machar to return home, saying that he'll guarantee his safety. And now Machar is to be relocated to a neutral country outside the region as part of a peace deal. What could have prompted this change of heart?
Well, I think it's body language. I mean, if you see maneuverings, the number of ethnic militias or rebel groups fighting in Southern Sudan now is unprecedented. I don't think we have that kind of a situation, or we have ever had it in Africa. You have about 10 different militia groups or faction, military groups, fighting the government in Southern Sudan. I think what has happened in the time that President Salva Kiir was making this offer, and when he renounced it, was looking at the maneuverings of all these militia, group, and to by that gauge the moves, that Riek Machar was making. Again, we don't know in what spirit he said that, inviting Riek Machar back to Southern Sudan. So those are things, I think why you mentioned that offer.
A new round of talks will take place next week in the Sudanese capital, Khartoum. What can we expect from that meeting?
Yeah, from the meeting that, well, not break down completely. We did not achieve it, with the 5 guys. But the feelers, are very, very positive. The U.S., all the stakeholders have put down their foot, that unless hostilities stop immediately, all sorts of sanctions have been threatened against the government and against Riek Machar. So I expect that everybody just fed up. IGAD, the US, UN, AU, and they've read the riot up to both parties, the government and the rebel groups. So I think that, this would be a follow-up, especially the US, the largest donor to Southern Sudan, is able to put its money where its mouth is.
Now, just before I let you go, Dr. Aderemi, let's talk about the U.S. and the UN, which have both threatened to impose sanctions on both parties if they don't reach an agreement by the end of this month. Is this threat likely to force President Kiir to reach a compromise with Riek Machar?
So what's the question again?
Is the U.S. and the UN have both threatened that if both leaders are unable to end their war before the end of this month, there will be sanctions. Now, is this likely to is this likely to help them reach a compromise?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the Southern Sudanese government, cannot survive without American aid. The Americans are the largest supplier of, military munitions and all of that to them. So Salva Kiir definitely will, play ball, now that the U.S. is putting down its foot. For Riek Machar, who is under house arrest in South Africa, he really doesn't have much choice. What the government of the U.S. has done in the past is to side, openly, unabashedly with the government. I think what we might be, I hope not, in the case that this breaks down again, we'll have a concerted military force, to then, checkmate all the militia groups, especially those led by the SPLM-IO, led by Riek Machar.
Senior Lecturer of Political Science at the Lagos State University, Dr. Wale Aderemi. Thanks for speaking with us on the program. Now, still to come on Network Africa, our Africa Tech segment focuses on the usefulness of virtual reality in Africa. Please stay with us.